It was a typical fast-paced summer morning in downtown New York. The air hung heavy with humidity after an early rain, and the shaded streets still held patches of dampness. Business people weaved hurriedly through the crowded sidewalks, diving into the usual 9-to-5 grind the city demanded. Diesel fumes mixed with the sharp scent of coffee filled the air, while buses hissed their brakes as passengers stepped out of taxis. No doubt, the city that never sleeps was wide awake and buzzing. Across town, Michael and Laura Mitchell, a well-established real estate couple, were rushing to the airport. Laura had to make an urgent trip to California. Her elderly mother was in critical need of cancer treatment, and Laura was determined to be there to care for her during recovery. The thought of leaving Michael behind to manage both the business and the household weighed heavily on her. "Are you sure you don't want to come with me, Michael?" Laura asked as he steered the car into the parking garage. "I'm sure, honey," he replied. "Your mother needs you right now. I'll handle the clients while you're gone. Everything will be fine." Laura sighed, guilt tightening her chest. "I hate leaving you with everything. Maybe Mom can find a close friend to help out if she really needs it." "Relax and leave it all to me," Michael said confidently. "You'll be back before you know it. Give Mom my love. We'll make up for lost time when you return." Laura smiled. "Just wait until I get back. You know how much I miss you when we're apart even for a day." Michael parked, and after checking in, they headed toward Laura's boarding gate. "Well, this is it," she said softly. "Give me a goodbye kiss. I'm going to miss you." Their lips met in a long, tender kiss, Michael holding her close. The warmth of the moment made nearby passengers glance their way. Michael broke away first. "Better get going before I change my mind." "Bye, dear." Laura didn't look back as she walked down the pier toward the plane, her legs moving gracefully in dark stockings and a fitted skirt. Michael watched until she disappeared around the corner, her perfume still lingering in the air, a small reminder of what he'd just held. After the plane took off, Michael headed to the garage. The lot was crowded, and he patiently waited to pay before leaving. Glancing at his watch, it was 11:30. Hungry, he decided to grab a quick bite near his office. Approaching a cluster of fast food spots, flashing emergency lights caught his attention. "What's on fire now?" he muttered, pulling to the curb as more emergency vehicles arrived. Curious, Michael fed the meter and crossed the street toward the commotion. Through the glass of a restaurant, he saw paramedics attending to a young woman. She was choking, her face pale and motionless as she received mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. A crowd gathered, with responders trying to clear space and administer oxygen. "What happened?" Michael asked a woman nearby. "I'm her roommate," she replied, her voice shaking. "We were just eating when she suddenly clutched her throat like she couldn't breathe. She's only 21. I'm the only family she has." She was unresponsive for almost 20 minutes before anyone acted. "Hope she pulls through," Michael said quietly. "I was just going to eat, but I lost my appetite. I'll stay out of the way." He turned and walked back toward the street, emergency sirens blending with city noise. Spotting a gap, Michael darted between cars and an ambulance backing up. Suddenly, a loud honk pierced the air followed by screeching tires. "Look out!" someone shouted. Michael raised a trembling hand instinctively, bracing for impact. Crash! A delivery truck collided violently with the ambulance, trapping Michael between the two vehicles. His body froze, unable to move as pain radiated through him. Blood trickled from his mouth. He wiped it shakily, staring at the dark red mix. The crowd gasped in horror as the truck reversed, and Michael collapsed to the ground. Rescuers on the scene hurried to position Michael and try to control his bleeding. The crowd could tell his injuries were severe and likely internal. He seemed to be struggling for his final breaths. As paramedics continued tending to the choking victim, they called for additional ambulances, one to replace the first, and a third to transport Michael. Time was running out if he was to survive. Within minutes, 2 more ambulances arrived. The choking victim was rushed into the second ambulance, unconscious and still receiving oxygen through a breathing device. Her roommate was allowed to accompany her to the hospital. Michael was loaded into the third ambulance as the concerned crowd watched. Paramedics checked his pupils repeatedly while he murmured faintly, "Laura, Laura. Hang in there, buddy," a paramedic encouraged. "We won't let you go. We're giving you something for the pain on the way to the hospital." They inserted N4 and administered morphine. After a moment, Michael gasped in relief as the intense pain eased. The ambulance sped off, trailing the one carrying the choking victim. Both vehicles arrived at the hospital almost simultaneously. Michael drifted in and out of consciousness as he was rushed to X-ray. The young woman was transferred to the trauma unit still on life support, her face tinged blue. About 30 minutes later, doctors conferred quietly, reviewing charts. These two patients were their highest priority. Nurses attached monitors to the choking victim's head and chest to track brain and heart function. She remained unable to breathe on her own. Meanwhile, Michael's pain medication began to wear off. He barely managed to move his good arm, letting out a loud groan to get a nurse's attention. When the nurse, Grace, checked his chart, she noted it had been some time since his last morphine dose. "This patient needs more morphine, Dr. Mason," Grace called to a doctor nearby. "Not yet," Dr. Mason replied. "We've been discussing his case. We need signed consent forms before proceeding with further treatment." Michael's pain increased, and he groaned again, waving his arm weakly in plea. Approaching Michael, the doctor said, "Mr. Mitchell, we need your consent to continue treatment. Is that all right?" Michael could only respond with a groan and a faint wave, clearly willing to sign anything for relief. The nurse returned quickly with a clipboard of authorization forms. By now, Michael was near unconsciousness from pain. Dr. Mason handed her an additional form. "Have him sign this too," he said. "Given his condition, it's best to cover all bases." "What's this?" the nurse asked, reading aloud. "Consent for experimental treatment under life or death circumstances, as a last resort." "I don't quite understand." "It's to save his life," the doctor explained. "Sometimes, when all else fails, experimental options can be considered, pushing medical science forward while giving the patient a chance. Don't delay, have him sign." "I approve the morphine now." "Understood, Dr. Mason," the nurse said, handing Michael the pen. He shakily signed each form, including the experimental consent. With a groan, he slipped into unconsciousness before providing any emergency contact details. Thoughts of experimental treatments were the last thing on his mind as he faded. The nurse quickly administered another morphine injection. Michael was moved to a monitoring unit, where his vital signs were continuously observed alongside the choking victims, awaiting the X-ray results. An hour later, the doctors met again. Dr. Mason presented Michael's forms and X-rays for review. They assessed all patients and directed nurses accordingly. Unfortunately, Michael's X-rays revealed shattered ribs puncturing vital organs and extensive internal bleeding. His spine was broken midway, and his left arm and legs faced likely amputation. It was only a matter of time before internal bleeding or organ failure would claim him. Unconscious and unaware, Michael lay broken on the stretcher. Suddenly, an alarm blared, halting the doctors' meeting. Nurses and doctors rushed to the trauma unit, where the young woman admitted from the choking incident had gone into cardiac arrest. The medical team performed chest compressions and monitored for any heartbeat. They administered fluids, hoping to restart her heart. However, the lack of oxygen during her choking had caused severe brain damage. Brain activity was flatlined, threatening her ability to sustain vital functions. Her heart briefly restarted, but her brain waves remained inactive. The doctors exchanged looks and gathered around the young woman's bedside. "Gentlemen," Dr. Mason began, "we face a difficult choice. We can let both patients, the young woman and the crushed man in the ER, die, or we can try to save a life from this situation. The girl will never regain consciousness and may die at any moment. The man, we know, will be dead within hours. I propose we do what we swore to do as physicians: preserve life. I suggest we attempt to keep his brain alive by using her body. Another doctor spoke up. I usually oppose experimentation like this, but if I understand correctly, we're saving one mind by combining it with another body, accepting the loss of the other. It's a way to save a life by merging two dire circumstances. I'm in favor. The team reached unanimous agreement to save Mr. Mitchell's mind by transplanting it into the young woman's body. Both patients were moved into the operating room to begin the procedure. In the waiting area, Grace, Michael's nurse, approached the choking victim's roommate. "Are you the friend of the woman admitted for choking?" Grace asked. "Yes." "Has she recovered? Is she okay? Can I see her?" the roommate pleaded. "I'm sorry," Grace said gently. "She has been in a vegetative state since arrival and her condition worsened to cardiac arrest. We won't be able to save her. May I ask if she was registered as an organ donor?" The roommate pulled the victim's wallet and found her license. "Yes, she opted in. I know she would want to help others. That's urgent for us now. We're already proceeding with surgery to save another patient using her organs. Your consent is enough for us to continue. May I keep her license? We'll ensure her family is notified." "She had no family except me since her parents passed," the roommate said. "I'll handle any paperwork." "Do what you must, she would want that." Grace hurried back and authorized the operation. The doctors worked swiftly before the young woman's heart failed again. She remained on full life support. Michael's body was brought into the same operating room, and anesthesia was administered to both. One doctor remarked, "Do we truly grasp what we're doing? This man's life will change forever, and he has no idea what is agreed to." Another added, "I recommend leaving his brain intact due to its complexity and transplanting the entire cranium to the new torso. This avoids the difficult brain-only transplant and increases chances of success." Dr. Mason agreed, "We should also preserve part of the throat to keep his vocal cords. It would be counterproductive for him to retain his facial features but have a different voice. Maintaining his identity through voice could help psychologically." All agreed. The team responded. The first doctor continued, "Let's not waste time. We must act now. It's unfortunate a male torso isn't available, but this is about saving a life, not gender. We have the chance to save a man's life and honor the wishes of a deceased young woman. Let's proceed and keep discussion brief." Oxygenated blood was circulated through Michael's head as surgeons detached it from his crushed body. The young woman's body was maintained on life support while the team prepared to connect spinal bones and nerves. The complexity of the procedure challenged even this expert team. "This isn't going to work," one doctor shouted. "It will," Dr. Mason insisted. "Keep going. We can complete the major work now and manage any follow-ups later. Restoring brain function and blood flow are our priorities. We cannot stop now or lose both patients and this rare opportunity." After 12 hours of painstaking surgery, the team neared completion. Michael's head was successfully attached to the 21-year-old female body. The heart beat steadily on its own, and breathing no longer required a machine. This body would now be Michael's, a second chance at life. The new body and head combination lay still on the bed, working perfectly. Michael's head was secured in a tight frame to keep it immobile during healing. The doctors exchanged tired looks and wiped sweat from their brows. "What's left?" Dr. Mason asked the team. "Well, recovery is going to be long, both physically and mentally," one doctor replied. "A man of his former stature is surely going to be shocked when he realizes his body has been replaced, especially with that of a young woman. It doesn't get more extreme than this. The nerve fusion and spinal repair went well, but he'll need to stay here to recuperate." "Yes, gentlemen," Dr. Mason said, "congratulations on the success. Nurse, you may finish up here and let me know when Mr. Mitchell wakes." An hour later, Michael started to come to. His new body was hidden behind a small curtain set up across the neck area of the bed. Groggy, He tried to call out to the nurses. "NN nurse. WH, where am I? What happened?" he whispered. "You're in the hospital after a serious accident, honey. Try not to talk too much. You're lucky to be alive, you nearly died," the nurse answered gently. "Almost died. The pain's not so bad. Throat hurts," Michael murmured. He weakly tried to move his head but instead looked down with his eyes. On the other side of the curtain, one of his new female hands twitched. The nurse noticed immediately and rushed to call Dr. Mason. "Dr. Mason, Michael Mitchell is waking up. I saw hand movement. Keep him mildly sedated. I don't want him moving too much yet, but he should be able to communicate by morning," Mason instructed. Michael remained unconscious for the rest of the night. Morning came, and the doctor entered to check on him. Michael lay with eyes open but his head completely immobilized. He started to murmur, "Doctor, am I going to die?" Dr. Mason finished for him. "No. You would have if we hadn't intervened. Now, I need to know if you can feel this. Blink twice for yes, once for no." The doctor gently touched each of Michael's new female limbs, testing nerve response. Michael blinked twice to confirm he could feel his hands but not his legs or feet. "I'm pleased with the progress, Michael. More sensations will return in time. Your body was crushed beyond repair, so we had to give you someone else's. I'll explain more as you recover," Mason said. 2 weeks passed with Michael kept mildly sedated to aid healing. His recovery was remarkable. He now felt sensation throughout his new body and could move all his limbs. His speech, mostly untouched by surgery, was nearly normal. He experienced strange new physical sensations he couldn't explain. Breathing felt easier and faster, and every movement seemed light and effortless. The curtain still blocked his view below his neck, so he could only guess what was happening. At the 2-week mark, Dr. Mason felt it was time to explain everything. He entered Michael's room. Michael raised a hand and lowered it in greeting. "I see you can move quite a bit," the doctor said. "Yes, doctor, but things feel very weird, almost embarrassing to say." "I feel very different down there," Michael admitted, glancing downward. The doctor unhooked the curtain. "There's a good reason for that. Now that you're recovering well, it's safe to show you what we had to do. Remember, your life depended on it." The curtain dropped, and Michael looked down quickly. 2 small flattened mounds showed where his chest was. Under the sheet, the outline of a petite body was clear. "What the?" Michael exclaimed. "Why am I smaller? Looks like I have a whole new body. Whose body is this? I'm shorter, and don't tell me those are chest. What am I, a woman now?" He stared down at one of his new hands, which he could lift slightly. "We had no choice, Michael," the doctor said gently. "As I explained, we did what was necessary to save your life. We gave you someone else's body, the only donor available, a 21-year-old woman's, from the neck down. Your face and voice remain unchanged. Saving you was the priority. Do you remember the young woman who choked at the restaurant just before your accident? Her body became the donor after she slipped into a vegetative state." He paused, holding Michael's soft new hand. "Right now, your recovery is what matters. In a few weeks, you should be able to return to society fully functional." Michael's voice trembled. "But, a woman? A young woman? I'm married to a beautiful 25-year-old wife. Now I have a body younger than hers. How is she going to handle this? How will we make love? Will she even want to? She's probably still out of town. She must be wondering why I haven't called. She has no idea." The doctor nodded thoughtfully. "We considered all that. You know her better than we do, and how she'll react. Remember, Michael, you were near death. At least she still has you, the person she married. As for intimacy, you'll have to figure that out. Maybe she'll have some ideas. Your new body's reproductive system is fully intact, you can even get pregnant, so be careful. For now, Keep still, occasionally move your legs and hands, explore gently, but don't move your neck. That area needs to heal. If your wife's away longer, I suggest you call her when you're more adjusted. Michael frowned. I'm not into men. You should have let me die. This body doesn't fit my lifestyle. I'm active, weight training, jogging, swimming, and when it comes to intimacy, women are all I want. Nothing compares to the feel of a woman and passionate intimacy. He grew agitated. I need to call my wife and let her know I'm alive. Can I get a phone? She's at her mother's out of state. Of course, the doctor replied. I'll also set up physical therapy so you can leave as soon as possible. The transplant itself was straightforward since your donor body was healthy. The doctor left after finishing the conversation. Half an hour later, an attractive nurse in a tight uniform with a low neckline entered to help with the phone. She glanced at Michael and smiled. Hey there, big guy, she giggled softly. You're in for some interesting experiences with a woman's body. I could tell you some great ways to enjoy it whenever you're ready. Michael blinked. What? I just want to get out of here and back to my normal life. Why didn't they just let me die? This is going to be a secret nightmare with my wife, my co-workers, friends. I'm used to making love as a man, not like this. He glanced down at his feminine figure. Sorry, I won't push, she said. You haven't even seen your new body yet, have you? No, not really. Just the shapes under the covers, Michael admitted, looking downward. The nurse smiled. I could give you a quick peek. What am I saying? It's your body. Want to see? Well, not really, okay, sure. Wonder if I'm built as well as you, Michael smirked. She pulled back the covers slowly as Michael closed his eyes. Go ahead, quick look. He looked down, feeling a tickle in his stomach as he saw his new large, perky chests and smooth chest. His flat stomach and tiny waist led to a hairy V-shape between shapely thighs. His new legs were slender and close together. He raised one arm slightly, seeing the delicate hand at its end. His pointers hardened as the nurse studied his body with interest. That's enough for now. Cover me back up. I feel strange. Never felt like this before, Michael said. Like what? The nurse asked softly. Like I'm turned on, but I'm trying to get an erection and nothing's happening. This might sound strange, but I think I feel wet down there. My mind says this body's damn good looking. I'm attracted to it. Looking at you turns me on, but down there, my female parts are responding instead. He sighed in frustration. I just want to heal and live a normal man's life. A normal man's life? The nurse asked. You'd better rethink that. You've got a woman's body now. Your skin is soft and will stay that way. You have a female organ, reproductive organs, legs to shave if you want, and a face you only have to shave one last time. Michael, you really are a woman now. No, I'm not. Not in my head. I'm just as much a man as anyone, Michael insisted. If you're all man, then what are those two things on your chest and that hairy patch between your legs? The nurse teased. Okay, you win. I'm a woman physically, Michael admitted. But that doesn't stop me from having my memories of passionate intimacy with a woman and finishing inside her. True. But I think that will change, the nurse teased, pausing before adding, I bet you were something as a man. Big, strong, hairy, muscular, right? Yes, I was. Could bench 375 and run a 3-minute mile back in the day. I'd satisfy you all night in bed, Michael bragged. That definitely turns me on, she replied. Yeah, I guess I won't be benching 375 anymore, Michael said casually. On a good day, maybe 100. You don't have the muscle mass of a bulky man anymore. Heck, you might need help opening a ketchup bottle. But hey, maybe gym workouts can get you there, she said. Michael shook his head. Where would I shower? The guys at the gym would freak seeing me unclothed in the men's locker room. I always wanted a woman's body in my bed, now I have my own, under these sheets. He paused, speaking of which, I need to call my wife. Oh right, you're married. How's she going to handle this? The nurse asked. I don't know. I'm not telling her yet, need to figure out a gentle way. I'm barely adjusted myself. She admired my muscles, Michael replied. He gave the nurse the number to dial and held the phone to his ear. His wife answered. Hi Michael. I've been trying to call, but there was a storm and the phones were down. Is everything okay, honey? Laura asked. Yeah, I'm fine. Work's fine. Just a bit of a cold and sore throat. Michael quickly changed the subject. How's your mother? Still has a lot of treatments ahead. Looks like I'll be here another 4 weeks. Do you miss me? Bet you wish you were kissing me right now. I miss you and can't wait to show you when I get home, Laura said warmly. I miss you too. 4 weeks, huh? Michael said. That's how it looks, Laura replied. That's fine. I just wanted to check in, Michael said. They talked some more about Laura's mother and her recovery. Well, I better go. Mom needs me, Laura said. Keep the bed warm for me. She giggled. I will. Love you, bye, Michael said. The nurse hung up. You've got a lot to sort out, huh? Yeah. I'm tired. Think I want to sleep, Michael said. A week later, Michael's head brace was removed. The doctor instructed him to slowly practice moving his neck until flexibility returned. His voice was fully recovered, and he could move all his limbs with only slight difficulty. Sensation throughout his body had returned. Another week passed. Michael prepared to get out of bed for the first time. Sitting up was part of the progress, along with beginning to use the bathroom independently. The nurse assisted him as he sat up. He swung his legs down and felt woozy. The space between his thighs felt unfamiliar as they pressed together while sitting. He noticed the roll of his chests beneath the gown and that his legs were noticeably shorter than before. His feet dangled, nails still painted, as did his hands. You guys could have cleaned off the nail polish, Michael remarked. It adds style, the nurse replied. Leave it on. Men don't wear that, Michael said. Do we have to do this again? Take it off when you get home. We don't have anything here to remove it, she said. Michael stood and shakily walked with the nurse supporting his 105-pound frame. His shorter legs and smaller feet meant he needed more steps to cover the same distance. His balance felt different, and his build was now similar to the nurse's. He was about the same height as his wife as he looked her in the eye. The nurse let him enter the bathroom alone. You've got to do this sometime, she said. Just go, sit, and pee. Don't forget to wipe. You'll get used to it. Inside, Michael lifted his gown up to his neck and looked in the mirror. He saw his firm chests and narrow waist for the first time, his familiar face attached to the beautiful young female body. Looking down at his smooth thighs spread apart, he studied the reflection. Oh my God, he whispered. He sat on the toilet. How do you start? Just like before, only now without a male organ. Just let it flow, the nurse said. Oh God, I can't believe I have to pee like this now. I liked standing up, Michael said. Not anymore, she replied. You pee like a girl now. Better get used to it. Michael finished and came out. The nurse helped him back to bed. You did well for your first time. How do you like it? It definitely feels different. But I'm wondering, when I'm out of here, which bathroom will I use? Michael asked. Well, your man's face says men's room, the nurse replied. You'll have to use a stall and hope no one peeks in. But if there's no stall, you definitely can't use the urinal with guys around. You might end up sneaking into the ladies' room sometimes. Yeah, I'd look pretty ridiculous walking up to a urinal, unzipping my pants, and standing there with nothing to pull out. People waiting would give me some weird looks, Michael said, climbing back into bed. These female features, he glanced at the outline under his gown, are going to be really tough to hide. My ass has a different shape, and it'll show through any pants I wear. The inner thighs will sag since there's nothing there. The silhouette is unmistakably feminine. My chests are already visible through this loose gown. The nurse smiled. You'll have to do your best if you want to keep it hidden. Would you be okay wearing dresses in public? Absolutely not, Michael answered quickly. No one around here will see Michael Mitchell in a dress, that's for sure. I still want to greet the ladies and have them greet me back without laughing, though I guess I can forget about getting an embarrassing erection in public now. I'm heading out now, Michael, the nurse said. The doctor wants to finish up your physical therapy over the next 2 weeks and then get you discharged. We'll also give you some intimacy education for your new body and a feminine hygiene session. Plus, the doctor wants the gynecologist to check you before you go. She left the room. 2 weeks later, physical therapy was complete and the gynecologist's checkup done. Michael was ready to leave. He'd spoken with his wife a few more times, always saying he was too busy to be near the phone. His hospital release was approaching dangerously close to when his wife would return home. Standing with the nurse in his room, Michael was handed the clothes his donor had worn. Your suit was discarded after the accident, the nurse explained. These should fit. She handed him a skirt, pump shoes, and a blouse. Sorry, no panties or bra, they got thrown out. We don't buy clothes for patients here. If you're uncomfortable with these, I have a less revealing skirt you can trade for. Michael started putting on the clothes. The contrast between his large head and this well-maintained female body looked unusual. Do I look weird? He asked while buttoning the blouse. Well, other girls might envy how you fill out that blouse and your nice legs, the nurse teased. To hell with it. This'll do. I'll get home and change into my own clothes. Maybe when my wife gets back, she won't notice the height difference right away. I'll keep some distance to ease into it. I'll stash these clothes under the bed, Michael said. Sounds like you've got it all planned. Your wife's lucky to have such a good-looking husband, the nurse said with a smile. Look me up sometime. I enjoyed helping you. She escorted him to the front desk where he signed out. The nurse handed him a purse since his clothes had no pockets. Inside, he found his car keys, wallet, money, and discharge papers. He gave the nurse a quick kiss on the cheek, thanked the staff, and left. I have to get to my car, that'll help hide some of this, Michael thought as he stepped outside. He flagged down a cab. The driver saw the attractive woman approaching and hurried over. Michael held the purse in front of his face to hide the masculine mismatch. He bent down and entered the cab gracefully to avoid drawing attention. His skirt rode up a bit, and he quickly pulled it down to avoid revealing the absence of underwear. He wasn't about to give free shows of his femininity. He was starting to accept and respect this new body. Where to, miss? The driver asked. Downtown, 5th and Main, Michael replied, forgetting to use his usual deeper voice. Lady, are you okay? The driver asked. Michael raised his voice slightly. Yes. I just had my tonsils out. My voice is still recovering. Phew. For a second, I thought you were a guy. Looking at you, I knew you weren't. Are you married, gorgeous? Yes. I can't talk much because of my sore throat, Michael answered cleverly. Oh, I see. No problem. You know, I could drive around ladies who look like you all day long, the driver said with a grin. Michael was dropped off near his car, which was still parked where he left it. He kept his face hidden as he fumbled for his keys in the purse. A whistle came from down the busy street. If only that guy knew, Michael thought. He got in and headed back to his apartment. At the building, some neighbors watching through a window spotted the striking woman stepping out of the car and heading inside. Michael was exhausted after a long day and just wanted to change into familiar clothes. He kept his face down to avoid being recognized, though he sparked some curiosity. In his room, Michael sighed in relief. He quickly undressed, gathered his clothes, and stepped into the shower. Washing his new body, he explored and excited himself, enjoying his newly acquired womanhood. This is actually pretty great. So soft, so stacked. Maybe I'll keep these legs looking good in case I have to wear a dress again, he mused. He grabbed shaving cream and a razor and carefully shaved his shapely legs. Toweling off, he played with his chests a bit, then reached for a pair of his boxers. They were way too big. Shit. This won't work, he muttered. But I can't go without underwear. He rifled through his wife's dresser, looking for panties that weren't too sexy. These are all way too sexy. She buys the sexiest stuff, he mumbled hopelessly. With no choice, he picked a pair of pink silk panties and slid them up his legs, fitting snugly over his perfectly curved hips. There he stood, chests perked with pointers hard from the chill, wearing his wife's panties. He climbed into bed, pulled the covers up, and took a short nap. Michael woke to the sound of the front door opening. "Honey, it's me," Laura called. "Oh shit. She's home." Michael jumped out of bed. He scrambled to find a shirt. Just then, Laura entered the bedroom. There sat Michael, half naked with chests visible and wearing her panties. "Honey, what are you doing with my panties?" "Wait, they shouldn't fit you." "Oh my God. You're a woman," Laura exclaimed. "Laura, sit down. Give me a kiss." "I have a lot to explain," Michael said. "Are you really female?" Laura asked. "Yes." "Look at me. Look at the panties. There's no male organ here." He pulled the elastic to reveal pubic hair. "I'm all woman except for my face and voice. They kept my head intact." "They?" Laura asked, walking over to the closet. "Yes. I was nearly killed in an accident. I was scared to tell you. I've been in the hospital since you left. This body transplant is permanent. The surgery was experimental, life or death. The donor was 21. Michael told her the whole story about the choking victim and his hospital stay. "You still love me, don't you?" Laura was busy sorting through the closet. "What are you doing?" Michael asked. "You're still the same person inside, right? I can't believe I'm looking at my husband who has bigger chests than me. My God, you're my size now." She paused. "Your body is changed, and we can only make the best of it. I'm getting you some of my clothes. It's hard talking when I'm staring at your chests." "Well, I'm going to feel weird wearing your stuff," Michael said. "I'll settle for some of your pants. I've always liked getting into your pants, but not like this. Maybe I can use one of my old shirts tied around my waist." Laura handed him a pair of her tight jeans, and Michael slid them on over the panties. His shapely legs and butt stood out through the jeans. The lack of male genitals was obvious in those pants. Michael grabbed one of his old dress shirts and tied it just under his chests, leaving a few top buttons undone for comfort. "This isn't so bad," he said. As he paced the room looking for shoes, his tight jeans rubbed against his crotch, stirring some excitement. Looking at Laura, he thought, "I feel like jumping her right now. I'm getting excited." Not finding any shoes, he said, "Damn, my shoes won't fit anymore either." "I have plenty of extra shoes, Michael. You can use some of my pumps. They're comfortable," Laura offered. "Yeah, your stuff's comfortable, that's the problem. I can't go out like this. These chests are impossible to hide. Even in a bra, it would be obvious. My body shows right through this stuff," Michael said. "That's what women's clothes are supposed to do, dummy," Laura laughed. "I guess we could shop for smaller men's clothes. That'd help me look less feminine. Help me get this nail polish off, too. I just have to be careful what I show and wear. I'm a woman now, for God's sake," Michael said. "I know you are," Laura said, walking toward him. She started undressing, shoes off, stockings next. Then she unzipped her dress. "What are you doing?" Michael asked. "You'll see, honey," Laura smiled. She slid off her dress and unhooked her bra as Michael stared. Standing nude before him, she kissed his lips and slowly moved down his body, undoing his shirt. "It's been a long time, Michael-y." "Yeah, but," Michael began, as Laura ran her hand around the empty space where his inner thighs used to be. "I know how to turn you on," Laura said, nude and excited. She slid one bare foot between his legs, pulled off his shirt, kissed his chests, and undid his jeans. They moved to the bed, fondling one another's soft bodies. Laura pulled off Michael's jeans and panties, exposing his shapely female figure. She guided one of Michael's small hands to her female organ. Michael was hot and wet, pointers erect. Laura reached over to the nightstand and grabbed a vibrator. "You're not going to, oh," Michael whispered as Laura ran the vibrator across his female organ. Laura was aggressive. They made wild, passionate love. Michael used his unforgotten male techniques, while Laura taught him the new pleasures of being female. After piquing each other, they settled down. "How's that, honey? You mind being a woman now?" Laura asked. "Oh my God. I never had anything like that before. I could do this forever," Michael replied. Snuggling together, Laura smiled. "We will, honey bunch. We will." If you appreciated this story and wish to show your support, don't forget to join me on Patreon for exclusive content.